Hey everyone, today I'm going to be playing Geoguessr, but I'm basically going to be explaining my guesses, and there are basically going to be 20 rounds total, so this, and then we're going to be playing another link. Both links will be in the description, or right here if you want to copy them, and we're just going to get into it, so let's get in. 20 rounds total. My goal is to explain them to the best of my ability here, and I do want to say I am not a full-on pro here, but I will definitely try my best. So, starting off here, it's a strat, which you would probably be like, I was thinking kind of like a German language, but at the same time, it doesn't look super German. I'm kind of thinking maybe, I was thinking the Netherlands, but obviously the license plates are gone. And basically in the Netherlands, you get yellow license plates with the blue strips. So maybe this is just Belgium, maybe like northern Belgium, and maybe there's a little bit of pink on the license plate. And basically in Belgium you get some pink license plates basically. Okay, I'm just gonna go over here because like brick building looks kind of German. It was Belgium. Yeah, I talked myself out of that. Okay, next I think we're actually a very similar region again. I think we are actually in Germany this time though. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. So looking at this looks like a very similar dead end sign that you do indeed in Europe. These just look like European bollards. We are indeed driving right. Okay, for a second I thought we were driving left. The thing is, it looks pretty northern. Like, it looks like it'd be in one of these regions, to be real honest. Like, I don't know, maybe it's like Sweden or something. No, because that would be an M. So basically in Sweden you kind of get these M's. But it shouldn't be Sweden, and Norway you usually have, or actually it should be Norway. No. It's gonna be Finland. If we are actually in a more northern part, if we are in the Nordics at least. So if this is Finland, I'm gonna explain my guess here. I was thinking Norway at first just because these lines are more spaced, and in Sweden you might know the short dashes where they're like this, but they're not as spaced apart, and there's more of them. In Finland, it's like this, how it's just a solid line. And the way to remember is F is short dashes, N for Norway, normal dashes, and F for full dashes for Finland. So it is indeed Finland. Nice, that was a good pull. So going on to round 3 here, we have an A-frame pull. Immediately kind of was thinking Russia. Never mind. So Russia doesn't have this Google car, and basically you only really see this Google car in like all of Europe sometimes and South Africa. Although rarely will you see Generation 3. This is the Generation 4 blue car though. And there is also a Generation 4 Honda that kind of goes around that's like all the way through the Americas to my knowledge, or at least part way. Now, we can easily just say that this does not look like South Africa at all. I think that's a pretty safe assumption there. And I'm not fully sure where this is. It looks very like, it looks pretty northern with the pine trees. I'm kind of thinking maybe it could be up here. It shouldn't be Russia. It shouldn't be Kaliningrad either, which is just like, it's this right here, basically. I also did not mean to put my guess in the UK. So we can start off by getting rid of any countries with an A-frame pole that have Generation 3 coverage. Now, to my knowledge, Ukraine does, but I think it also has Gen 4 coverage. Bulgaria only has Generation 3 coverage, same with North Macedonia, Albania, Montenegro, and Serbia. It could be Bosnia. I actually don't hate that. I'm not fully sure on any metas I could kind of teach people here. Like, this triangle thing might be Bosnia. I haven't really learned anything about Bosnia. I don't know if they have A-frame poles or not. A-frame poles like usually get from, I rarely see them in Finland, if ever. I don't know if I've ever had, but I know you get them from like Estonia down to like Lithuania. I don't think I've ever seen them in Poland. I might have, but they usually are seen in Eastern Europe basically. And there shouldn't be like any of the far south countries like over here. I'm very much believing that I am in the Baltic countries. So I'm gonna go with here. It was Estonia. So yeah, I was right. It is indeed Baltic. It's also very flat, which is very known for the Baltic. So if you see mountains, don't go to the Baltics. We have a short license plate here. We actually have an Argentinian license plate. So, let's see if we can see another example of a Argentinian Brazilian license plate, but probably not. It looks like a Argentina. Well, that could say Argentina right there. It looks like an Argentina license plate, but like the problem is the road lines right here. Or okay, we do have an outer road line. The thing about it is I'm very tempted with the US here, and Argentina and the US do look very similar, but these plates look very Argentina because they're very short but with like a black dot in the middle, and you can see a lot of them have that. The thing is, we also have like some US signs. It does look like it says speed limit over there, so okay, we will be in the US, and Argentina doesn't use a speed limit. It's unique to the US. So if you see like speed limit 25 or speed limit 15, that is US only. Canada will use maximum and is the best way to differentiate Canada and the US. So obviously we're gonna probably be with this, like it's not super flat, it's not super mountainous, it's pretty rolling kind of a little bit. It's also pretty wintry. Like I'm very much thinking maybe like a Iowa, Missouri. Ooh, even more east. It's actually Tennessee. So like it felt pretty dry. So wow, okay, we have a lot of vegetation here. Oh, we have a really cool meta here. So this truck, you see how it's like all rusted and stuff. I've actually never used this meta up until now, except for on learnable meta maps. I was thinking Asia at first, to be honest, but this is actually America, but not mainland America. This is going to be in Oceania, and we're going to be in America Samoa, which is right here. So basically, this black truck with the rusted bed is unique to American Samoa. I don't think Samoa has any type of coverage. Maybe Apia does, and I think this island, these two islands, have a very little amount of coverage. But it should be American Samoa, which it indeed is. Very, very niche coverage. I've never really had to use that coverage, so more than likely you'll very rarely see it. But when you do, you'll probably notice it. Next we have a very cool looking round here. It looks very nice. It looks extremely nice. It kind of gave me, it reminded me of kind of the Balkan nations, like Croatia, Montenegro, Bosnia, Serbia, like all those. And you should definitely learn what countries in Europe do not have coverage, which there's very few. There's like Belarus, Kosovo, the Vatican City, and like that's basically it. Like I don't think there's any more. Like Cyprus has coverage, even Gibraltar has coverage. These islands over here, these two islands over here have coverage. Like more than likely, I don't think there's any country that doesn't really have coverage except for Kosovo, and Belarus has a tiny bit of coverage in Minsk, but Kosovo is absolutely none, probably due to political tensions with Serbia, but I'm not really fully sure. But I'm really trying to figure out where this is. Starting off here, we do have a white car, which takes me honestly kind of away from the area I was thinking. We have no rifts, and rifts you kind of see in Albania, Montenegro. We also have like super black soil here, which is usually pretty known for like volcanic soil. Like for all I know, we could be in like Patagonia, or I don't think so. We could be in like Ecuador though. I doubt it. We do have what kind of seems to be American architecture a little bit. But really, like, a really volcanic thing would be like Hawaii, which would work with the islands. There's also a few other volcanic states in the west, being like Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Alberta's a little volcanic, but and then I don't think there's a ton of countries in the east that are super volcanic. And then I believe Alaska is pretty volcanic, given I believe it is part of the Ring of Fire. But I think if we're gonna be with like this black of soil and then American looking architecture down here with a ton of water to our east would of course probably put us here. Like, could we be seeing this island from here? I think so. No, it was Patagonia. I should have stuck with that. I even said Patagonia, but that's okay. So it was Chile. Super dark soil. Wow, okay, this is really weird coverage here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know the country. Basically, if you see a white road line that's dashed and a yellow, so a fully solid yellow road line, you're gonna be in Argentina, and with the black card that also works, you also get the black card in Uruguay and Peru, at least in South America. You can also get in Jordan and sometimes South Korea. You mostly will get the black card in Uruguay now, because both Peru and Argentina are nearly completely replaced with Gen 4. Or I don't know if Peru is, but I know Peru has mostly like white car and blurred, I believe, or that might be Bolivia. But this should be Argentina, and kind of with how green it is, it's extremely flat. Of course, it's going to push me closer to Buenos Aires, like, because it is extremely mountainous and dry down here. But it does actually look fairly south. Like, the color of the grass would definitely push me more south, and the black cart is more common the further you go south. Now, I don't think it's Terra del Fuego. Like, I don't see any beech trees. I don't think those are beech trees, but I do think that we are going to be, like, maybe over here. Oh, it actually was Uruguay. Wow, okay. Uruguay, the problem with Uruguay, I guess in that case, like what really kind of messed me up with that is that with Uruguay, you usually have another white road line on the outside of it, but we just didn't have that there. And I didn't know that you can get road lines without that. So that's on me. Let's see here. We have I accept MTN mobile money. Okay, so we can of course look around and we can obviously notice that this is probably Africa. I don't think anywhere in Asia would look like this. Like, no, this is Africa, yeah. So we can start off with driving direction. We're driving on the right, which basically gives us only Tunisia, Senegal, Ghana, and Nigeria. The rest of the countries with coverage, Kenya, Uganda. Oh, never mind. Rwanda also drives right, but Uganda, Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, Namibia, Lesotho, and Eswatini all drive on the left. Now, Sao Tome you very rarely get and has an antenna, which we don't see here. And then also Madagascar, which you will usually tell because of like some trees. Now, we can go ahead and see we have a lot of English, so that would of course remind me of Ghana, Nigeria, or Senegal. We don't have really a lot of like, we have a lot of motorcycle people, which makes me feel like we're probably going to be either Nigeria or Ghana. We don't have a police follow car, which is very common in Nigeria, but not all the time. We can see if we can see any like French architecture, maybe French bollard or anything like that would resemble French architecture, which I don't really see any French anyway, so we can probably disregard Senegal. And honestly, where in Ghana really looks like this, I don't know. But I'm also not fully sure I want to go Nigeria, but that is my best option, so I'll go for it. It was Ghana. Wait, was that Tamale? Really? Okay, so that's just the new Ghana coverage getting me. I haven't really done a ton of studying on the new Ghana coverage. With this, we have a black sign back, we have a dead end sign. We got the small cam, which is very annoying. And we have a square pole. Okay. This all, I was gonna say maybe Belgium, actually. Belgium, you sometimes get a mix of orange sign backs or black, I believe. It might be gray that you also get, but you do usually get square poles. And these are square, and they actually have dots in them. They look very similar to typos, but I don't think, there's no way we're in Thailand. This is surely Europe. I'm thinking we just go Belgium. It could be Germany though. Serbia. I should have known for not having the antenna there. Ooh, this looks very cool. Kind of immediately reminds me of probably Andorra. I'm very confident with Andorra, I think. Andorra license plates are pretty easy to spot, but we can't really tell with the shadow. But also, well, that doesn't look Andorran at all. We could be in Switzerland, and maybe that's not all stone brick. I really think this is Andorra, though. Huh. Andorra was also taken during autumn, and these trees look very autumn-like. They look like they were with autumn coverage. But also, that's alpine architecture right there. Like, that makes me very much want to go Switzerland. really, and Switzerland doesn't have the blue strip either, so that's what makes it really hard here. Is they're not part of the EU. They're very neutral. But also that looks German, so I think I'm gonna go Switzerland. It was Austria. Okay, well I'm glad I didn't go Andorra, but I didn't see blue strip, so I was like, didn't think it was gonna be Austria. So 32,000 out of 50,000, not the worst, not the best. We're gonna go to our second round here, which here's the link, and we're going to hopefully do well. Starting off with, ooh, very nice, very easy round to explain. Dirt. This dirt is a very Brazil thing. You can see elsewhere the red dirt, but it is super iconic in like southern Brazil. But you can see it literally anywhere, it feels like. And I mean, really, Brazil's hard to region guess, but you can see red dirt in Mexico, sometimes in like southern US. You can see it in very rarely Sweden. You can see it in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, South Africa, Australia, Ghana. I don't think I've seen it in Senegal that much, but you also get it quite a bit in Asia, like Cambodia and Vietnam. I see it all the time. Same with India, Sri Lanka. I don't see that a ton in Bangladesh or Nepal or Bhutan. So, like, you can see it in a ton of places. You can basically see it all over the world. And all red soil is just dirt mixed with a ton of iron oxide. Chemically at least. But this should be Brazil. Like, it gives us a very particular vibe. And you won't really understand vibes that well. Like, you will need to play a lot of Geoguessr to just get vibes of countries. But it very much vibed over kind of Sao Paulo just because it's like super flat. And then also, it's just very bright red soil, as well as the sun is to the north, which means we are in the southern hemisphere and vice versa. So sun's to the south, you're going to be up here. If the sun is to the north, you're going to be down here. Sometimes, not all the time. It's not always going to work, but it looks like the state of Sao Paulo, and I'm going to go for it. Next state over, Minas Gerais, but still. The next location we have... Oh, I thought we had an antenna there. No antenna. Okay. But I'm pretty confident to say this is Gen 3. I think... Like, this is a hard round, so... I'm not fully sure where I want to go. Like, if I was to go really anywhere, I was kind of thinking... Probably Europe. We also have not too outer lines. Like, I could be seeing Turkey here, and it is pretty gravelly, like the roads you do get in Turkey. But I could also see, like, Serbia, but I think I like Turkey the most here, so I'm gonna go for it. Really? Wow, this road line just did not make me think it was gonna be in the Americas. Wow, okay. Next round it is then. That was that's embarrassing, bro. Okay, let's move on. Um wow. I'm not sure. I don't really want to be wrong now. I was thinking Indonesia, but I'm also, like I said, I'm not fully sure. I'm in a mix of a few Southeast Asia countries. Thailand, Malaysia, I don't think it's Singapore. Philippines, I don't think it is. Like, I'm not fully sure where. But I could see Japan here, I even think. Like, could this be Japan? No, this isn't a Japanese pole. Okay. Japan has a lot of nails usually hanging out of their pole, same with South Korea, but also with Japan, you'll usually get like some pole plate of some sort in this. I think this is an rectangular pole. With South Korea and also Taiwan, but Taiwan's a little bit more, Taiwan's a little different. With Taiwan, you'll usually get like a yellow and black circular stripes that always go down to the bottom. With Korea, they don't always go down, and North Korea just doesn't have Google coverage, which makes sense. Now, I was gonna say, sometimes in Indonesia, you also get the flag, and we can see that here, with the red on top and white on bottom. We have the Indonesian flag. Now, it's been a while since I've learned Indonesia pole metas, but I think if it has a longer crossbar, it's usually on these islands here. Could it be? Like, I mean, it doesn't really look like anywhere I've seen a ton. I don't think it's gonna be Sumba or Bali. I'm just gonna go East Java, because that was Sulawesi, but it was still Indonesia, not bad. For our next one, we have this golden grass again. That's what. No, just kidding. Don't go Eswatini here. Here's like kind of an example of a Brazil where you probably won't see it. I'm pretty confident in Brazil here. Like, sun's to the north again, and again, it's not always trustful, but when you see it, you'll know it. Brazil has a black sign back, as well as we also have these, what looks to be pear trees. Paraná is usually a lot more mountainous, I feel like, or a lot more densely forested. But basically with Paraná trees, they're very flat on the top. But you also see them like in Rio Grande do Sul, and then also state of Santa Catarina. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. But we still have that red soil, just it's more covered up by shrubs and stuff. But we still have that yellow line that you get all over the Americas and other places in the world. Brazil, you'll sometimes see just like straight up only white road lines. Sometimes you'll see double center yellow lines, and sometimes you'll just see single. I've never seen a road in Brazil, a paved road with no center road lines that you'll get in like Italy sometimes. But of course, that's a different continent. But Brazil, it's pretty easy to tell where I'm pretty sure this is. I'm pretty confident with like going up here. It's very flat, that reminds me of way of that, and we don't really have a pull to confirm. Like, you'll usually get some ladder pull if it's usually very flat, but we don't really have any pull to confirm. So it could be maybe over here, there's a flatter part of like Rio Grande, but I'm pretty confident that it is. It's actually Mato Grosso do Sul. I did think of Goiás area, and it makes sense because of the grass. Like in Goiás and a lot of the states surrounding it, except for probably maybe like this part of Mato Grosso do Sul, or Mato Grosso, sorry, you'll sometimes get a lot of very tall golden grass, kind of like the same you'll get in Eswatini. Going to round 15 here, technically, round 5 on the second one. Is this another Brazil? No, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be. I'm pretty sure that we are in South America, or Asia, like, I haven't really worked that out. We do have this kind of car here, which I will probably, I'm going to be honest, I usually will probably put more in Colombia. Colombia has a few different cars, but is extremely mountainous. I just don't think it's Peru or Ecuador. And then Costa Rica and Panama both use a very different type of car. It could be Southeast Asia though. Mexico even. What was that? Puebla. I've never learned how to pronounce Mexican states. I've learned them all, but have yet to learn how to pronounce them. We have Italian license plates, Albanian, Italian. Okay, this should be Italy. And basically you can tell, because in Italy you'll get a, wait. That's weird, because there's actually a short plate there and a short plate there. Okay, so license plates seem to be untrustworthy this time. But I'll still explain them. So in Italy, you'll get a lot of the time, you'll kind of get like 2 strips on each side. So you'll get a strip here like you usually do on the left side, and then another strip here, but on the right side. The thing is, Albania and France also do this. France doesn't do it a ton, and that could easily be French maybe. We can probably look for some of the roads in language and compare. But with Albania, you'll sometimes get rifts in the sky. With France, you got language, and then with Italy, you have the license plates where they'll be more short in the front, but long in the back. And no other country really does it like that. Now, I am actually thinking we were just in France here. Like, I mean, that's nearly looks like a Portuguese license plate, but I just think that's a yellow stain. It looks a little bit like, that looks very similar to an Ecuadorian bowler, but it shouldn't be, no, because like just the all white lines in the European blue strip. And speaking of, I haven't explained this meta yet. If you see this blue strip, and this is the best meta in all of Geoguessr in my opinion, you will most likely be in Europe, except for very, very few countries. And I believe that's like Iceland and Switzerland. I know there's a few more, but I don't know all of them. I think Belarus is one, but you can also see the blue strip in other places like Turkey, Israel, and Georgia, which only recently got coverage. So bear that in mind. Where are we though? Like, I think we're just in France. We could be in Italy. We could be in Albania. We're actually in Switzerland there. So could have been some travelers from Germany, probably for those. And then we have a yellow license plate, a short yellow license plate. We're also driving on the right. Wait, what? Huh. So this is Ghana because of the black tape, but the meta should have been replaced by now. So this is a very rare road. And of course, we're only going to see South Ocean here. unless you're like in this like, I do know that like over here has this tape, I believe, so we could probably get a pretty good score here. But Ghana is usually pretty flat. Usually, you do get some hills and mountains, like especially more over here. You'll sometimes get them. But also you have yellow license plates. You will be driving on the right. And this is the old Google car from 2016. Yeah, the copyright's been updated, but now the coverage has now been updated to a Google truck. So that definitely sucks, but it's pretty hard to tell the differences, I feel like sometimes, but I am pretty confident we should be on the road over here. And we can probably do this. And basically doing this will let you face north, so click N twice. And you can basically see, because the map is making you go north, that means that this is the road angle. So the road angle is kind of an east to west, but with a little bit of an upward angle. So we can go, of course, into here, and we can try to find a road that kind of fits that. Like this kind of fits that, right? But the thing is, it's not nearly as dramatic as that steep. Like, we need one that's way less dramatic. We're looking at like, that's way too dramatic. That's not an upward slope, that's downward. Like, I'm pretty confident we're on somewhere down on this coast. So, like, that's a very, very good looking road angle. Of course, you don't have the curves, and we're not gonna try to 5K, but I'm pretty confident Ghana. Ooh, it was indeed, I was on the right road there. Got a very good guess. So it looks like that the N1, yeah, the N1 still has that tape coverage, or probably some of it does, some of it doesn't. Next thing is we are got like a blur there, but we shouldn't be in Europe. Germany is like full of blurs, but you can see them all over the world. But we should be in like probably the Americas. Just the architecture didn't give me initial American vibe. It kind of gave me more of a Canadian type vibe here. And I think I want to stick with Canada anyway, because Canada and the US both use these signs. But I don't know, the stop sign also looks pretty weird for that. Same with the poles. The poles are pretty weird for both of them, but I don't know, that's obviously clearly not a US stop sign. I'm pretty, you know what, we're gonna go for it. Do we see a double yellow road line? No, not really. Okay, we're gonna go for Saskatchewan here. It's actually Pennsylvania. Dang. Could have been a lot better, but no. Look how it looks kind of like a Japanese pole. It is. Wow. And I mean, you can see Japanese people. You can see this. You can barely see these pole plates, but that's these white things basically. As well as like you can see the nails kind of coming out. I would not have caught in Japan if I did not notice that. To me, this doesn't look anything like Japan, but it looks like well, if it doesn't look anything like Japan, I should probably go very northern here. Oh, it's actually like very southern, but it is Japan. So probably just winter coverage there that I have yet to see. Next, we have a very useful meta here. So, Austrian Slovenian bollards. Austria-Slovenian, yeah. They're pretty easy to spot as Austrian bollards, but usually if you see a dark red reflector, and you can barely tell it's not black, it's more of a dark red, then you should be in Austria. Now, I'm going to put a big asterisk on should. You will not always be in Austria, but most of the time you should be. But a lot of the time with Austrian bollards, you also get a little cap on top that the Geoguessr calls a nipple cap, or a nipple-shaped cap on top. And basically, it goes literally just right on top of the bollard. And this is kind of what I mean by, it looks like the Austrian bollard does the Australian bollard, but it has this black top. So take away the black top and just increase it to the height, but with all white, and increase everything basically, and make the reflector white, as well as make the front one bright red instead. Now, you can probably tell the difference between Austria and Slovenia probably based off of language. Slovenia does have a tiny bit of German speakers, but of course, Austria has it a lot more. But also, they are both extremely mountainous, as well as, I'm pretty sure we are just in Austria. Like, this doesn't look like Slovenia to me, to be honest. But, yeah, okay, nice. So there we are. That's gonna be all 20 of them. And basically we did pretty good there. I think if you guys want to see more content like this, let me know. Or if you are want to recommend better ways to explain everything, I can easily do that. It looks like I spent usually around a minute and 30 to 30 seconds explaining each round. We can kind of go and look through that. So 2 minutes, 2 minutes, a minute, 30 seconds, and a minute and 30. Okay. But basically, there we are. It looks like the worst guesses I had was almost Canada. So we're gonna go back and look at it, like, because I'm very curious what I could have done to potentially have gotten British Columbia here, because it's a very hard British Columbia. Because in British Columbia, you do usually have some like transformer, which are those big white circular boxes, basically that face the road, but also this road just is pretty poor looking quality. Like, and it looks pretty grainy like Turkish roads. That's why I want Turkey. But I wonder maybe if we had a little bit more out here, like, because this is a very flat British Columbia. British Columbia is usually pretty mountainous, but also we're just also missing a yellow road line, which of course led me to think we were going to be more Turkish. Of course, we have kilometers per hour in more of Canadian fashion, and then also we have the road lines now appearing all of a sudden. Apparently, it looks like they're appearing. Oh, they were just blended into the road. Okay. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Of course, we do see some mountains over to our east there. So pretty good all in all. I think I did fairly well for that and whatnot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys like what you guys saw in today's video, I can do more of these for sure. And I have paused that series that I was doing of trying to get as close as I can, but, or like, or no, Road to Champion series, yeah. So I have paused that, but until then, and thank you guys so much for watching, and bye guys.